The story of the grandmother who lived 500 years there. Lived an old grandmother named Maria in a small village at the foot of an ancient mountain. People said she was a magical grandmother who could tell stories filled with boundless wisdom and secrets of the ages. But one day, people began to notice strange things. The grandmother looked both old and yet young, and her eyes shone with the experience of millennia. As it turned out, Maria was no ordinary woman, but an ancient wise being who had lived through many eras and events, wars, great inventions, the disappearance and emergence of civilizations. According to legend, she received the gift of eternal life from a magical spring hidden deep in the mountains, and kept the secret of immortality. Over 5 centuries, the grandmother learned to heal illnesses, predict the weather, and tell incredible stories about long-lost worlds. Her words possessed the power to heal souls, and her presence filled people with hope. Despite her eternal life, Maria remained kind and humble, helping everyone in her village and guarding the secret of her amazing existence. Every night, she would sit by the fire, and the elders would gather around, listening to her tales of distant times, adventures, and losses. They said if you listened carefully to Maria, you could hear the whispers of ancient souls and receive wisdom that preserves peace and balance. Thus, she was called the grandmother who lived 500 years, a living testament that magic and kindness can overcome time. Continuation of Grandmother Maria's story over time. Many legends sprang up in the village about Maria's extraordinary abilities. People came to her for advice because her wisdom and knowledge of history could help overcome any problem. Yet, despite her power, Maria remained humble and lived like an ordinary grandmother, helping her neighbors and caring for the children. One day, a young traveler arrived, fascinated by the quest for immortality. He asked, "Grandmother, how have you lived so long? Do you have a secret?" Maria smiled and replied, "My secret is love, kindness, and respect for all living things. There is magic inside each of us. The most important thing is to keep a pure heart and faith in goodness." The traveler remembered her words and set off to find his own path, inspired by Maria's wisdom. Meanwhile, the grandmother continued to tell her stories, passing knowledge to new generations. But over time, her eyes began to glow even brighter, and it became known that she sought a way to share her gift with others, so the world could become better and all living beings could gain eternal youth and wisdom. Thus, Grandmother Maria was not just a long liver, but a symbol of hope and faith that kindness and love can overcome even the boundaries of time. Further continuation of Grandmother Maria's story years passed, and the legend of Maria's wisdom spread far beyond her village. Many travelers and scholars came seeking her counsel, hoping to learn the secret of her eternal life. But Maria always answered kindly, "The true magic is not in remaining forever, but in loving deeply, living kindly, and passing on wisdom. Immortality is a journey of the soul, not just of the body." Despite her age, Maria's spirit remained youthful and lively. She continued sharing stories, teaching children about compassion and respect, and helping neighbors in need. She knew her time in this world was finite, but she also believed that her essence would live on in the hearts of those she touched. One day, a wise elder among the villagers approached her and asked, "Grandmother, what is your greatest wish now?" Maria looked at the sky and softly replied, "My greatest wish is that future generations remember that true power lies in kindness and that the world is full of magic when we open our hearts. I hope that someday everyone can find their own inner light." After that, Maria's eyes sparkled brighter than ever. It was said that her spirit had begun to transcend the physical world, becoming part of the wind, the streams, and the stars themselves. Her legacy was no longer just her long life, but the love and wisdom she shared. And so, the legend of the grandmother who lived 500 years remained alive, A reminder to all that even in the face of eternity, goodness and love are the greatest treasure. A longer continuation of Grandmother Maria's tale. As the years went by, the story of Maria's extraordinary life continued to grow. Many believed she was a guardian spirit rather than just a woman, an ancient protector, who had watched over her village and beyond for centuries. Her presence became woven into the fabric of the community, a symbol of hope, wisdom, and resilience. One cold winter evening, as the snow gently blanketed the land, a young girl named Lily, curious and brave, approached Maria. She had grown up hearing stories of her, but had never met her directly. With wide eyes and a trembling voice, Lily asked, "Grandmother, if you've lived for so long, do you ever grow tired? Don't you want to rest in peace someday?" Maria looked at her softly, her eyes shining with gentle warmth. She knelt down to Lily's level and said, "My dear, life is like the river that flows endlessly. It changes course, it bends and widens, but it never stops flowing. I have seen many seasons, many faces, and many worlds. My strength comes from knowing that every moment is a gift, and every person I meet is a chance to share love and kindness." Lily listened eagerly as Maria continued, "I don't seek eternal rest, because I believe in the importance of doing good, of planting seeds of hope wherever I go. Even in my long life, I learn something new every day about myself, about others, about the magic that exists in kindness and understanding." Years later, Lily would grow up and remember this lesson forever. She became a wise healer and storyteller herself, passing on the stories Maria told her, ensuring that her grandmother's wisdom would never be forgotten. Meanwhile, Maria's life became a bridge between the past and the future. She shared her knowledge freely, teaching beyond words through actions, through love, through the quiet strength of example. She believed that true immortality was not in living forever, but in inspiring others to carry on the light after she was gone. One day, the villagers noticed something extraordinary. Maria's presence seemed to grow even more luminous. Her age was no longer just measured in years, but in the lives she touched and the happiness she brought. And then came a moment when Maria gathered all her strength and spoke to everyone present. "My dear friends, I am grateful for this life, for the love I have received and given. Remember, every one of you carries a spark of magic within. When you live with kindness, with compassion, and with courage, you become part of the eternal cycle of life. I may leave this earthly form someday, but the love I have shared will remain in the hearts of all of you." And so, as the legends say, Maria's spirit transformed, fading into the whispering winds, shining in the stars, and whispering through the rivers. Her story became a timeless tale told from generation to generation, a reminder that even a single heart filled with love can leave a mark that lasts forever. A longer continuation of Grandmother Maria's legacy many years after Maria's final words. Her legend only grew stronger. The villagers still cherished her memory, sharing stories of her wisdom, kindness, and miraculous life. Children who had listened to her tales as young ones now told their own children about the gentle grandmother who had lived for 5 centuries, and how her love had touched everyone she met. One spring morning, as the flowers bloomed and the birds sang their sweetest songs, Maria felt her time was near. She called her closest friends and the villagers who loved her dearly. With a peaceful smile, she sat beneath her favorite ancient tree, surrounded by those she had helped and inspired. In her last moments, Maria looked at the faces of her friends and grandchildren, and she whispered, "Remember, my dear ones, that the real magic is always within you. Life is a precious gift, and each of you has the power to create beauty, kindness, and hope wherever you go. Do not fear the end, for it is simply the beginning of a new journey, one that continues beyond what we can see." With that, her spirit gently left her earthly body, blending into the wind, the stars, and the streams that flowed nearby. The villagers mourned her loss, but also celebrated her everlasting spirit. They knew her essence had become part of their world, watching over them always. In the years that followed, people built a small shrine beneath the old tree where Maria had spent her final moments. They placed flowers, candles, and notes of gratitude and love. The story of her life inspired many to act with kindness, to seek wisdom, and to cherish the preciousness of every moment. As generations passed, stories of Maria's extraordinary journey were passed down through songs, poems, and tales. They spoke of her as the guardian of hope, the keeper of ancient secrets, and a shining example of how love and kindness can transcend even the boundaries of time. And so, the legend of Maria the Eternal Grandmother remains alive, an everlasting reminder that within each of us lies the power to inspire, to heal, and to connect with the divine magic of the universe, the everlasting legacy of Grandmother Maria. After her passing, the village and surrounding lands seemed to shimmer with a subtle, magical glow, an aura of love and serenity that many believed was the eternal spirit of Maria, watching over her descendants. The legend of her long life, boundless wisdom, and unshakable kindness inspired people far beyond the borders of the village. As the years turned into decades, a new generation of villagers grew up hearing stories of Maria's deeds. Many of them felt a special calling to emulate her virtues, showing compassion to the suffering, caring for nature, and seeking wisdom through silence and reflection. Schools and small libraries sprang up around her story, dedicated to passing her teachings forward. One of Maria's most devoted followers, a young woman named Eleanor, decided to honor her memory by creating a sanctuary beneath the ancient tree where Maria had spent her last days. This sanctuary became a place of healing and learning, where visitors could sit in quiet meditation, reflect on their lives, and connect with the deeper magic of kindness and love. Over time, strange and beautiful things began to happen at the sanctuary. Flowers bloomed out of season, gentle breezes carried melodious whispers, and some believed they saw faint traces of Maria's smile in the flickering candles and flickering stars. These signs served as gentle reminders that her spirit was still alive in the world. Generations of children were told her stories, learning that her longevity was not just a miracle of biology, but a testament to a soul who deeply understood the sacredness of life. They learned that true immortality is achieved not through stopping the aging process, but by leaving a trail of love and wisdom that touches all who come after. One notable story that spread across the region involved a young boy, Thomas, who was lost in the woods during a storm. An elder nearby saw the boy trembling and crying and remembered Maria's teachings about kindness and bravery. He gently guided Thomas back to safety, whispering words of reassurance and hope. When the boy was finally safe, he told everyone, "I felt a gentle presence guiding me, like the love of Grandma Maria, still watching over us." This story, among many others, became a symbol of how Maria's spirit continued to guide and protect her community, teaching that our acts of kindness ripple through time, creating a divine chain of love. Decades later, an artist named Sophia created a stunning mural on the side of an old town hall depicting Maria, surrounded by trees, streams, children, and stars. It became a place where people gathered to meditate, to share stories, and to remember that even in the darkest times, love and hope shine brightly. Maria's story also inspired poets, musicians, and writers who sought to capture her essence through art and words. Her life became a testament that true strength and magic reside in humility, love, and open heart. In the end, Maria's greatest gift to the world was not her longevity, but the awareness that each person is a vessel of divine light, capable of inspiring eternity through small, meaningful acts. Her legacy reminds us all that the greatest magic of all is the love we carry and share, a legacy that time cannot diminish. The end of Grandmother Maria's story time passed, and the memory of Maria grew ever brighter and more alive within the hearts of the people. Her kindness, wisdom, and love became part of legends passed down from generation to generation. Everyone who heard her story was filled with warmth and inspiration, understanding that true magic resides in the heart of every person. As the winds carried away the last leaves from the trees, she had long since journeyed beyond this world, leaving behind a light that would never fade. In every flower, every star, and every act of kindness, her spirit lives on forever alive, always near. Even centuries later, when people gather by her monument or beneath her favorite tree, they whisper words of gratitude, for she is a symbol of goodness, eternal love, and faith in the miracles that happen within each of us. The image of Grandmother Maria reminds us all, the most precious things are the people we love, and the good we do. Through them, the soul lives forever. And so ends the story of the great grandmother who lived 5 centuries, and left the world an invaluable legacy, love, warmth, and a light that never dies. The end.